The candidates for Attorney General in the second session are Eric Wallen and Christopher Little. I ask Mr. Little to make a 3-minute opening statement. Please take your seats.
Excuse me, can everyone take their seats, please?
Everyone take your seats, please. Mr. Little.
Thank you. I'm Chris Little. I'm a moderate party candidate for Attorney General. I've been practicing law for over 30 years. In fact, I had my first trial in federal court more than 30 years ago and have been in courtrooms of Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and other states almost continuously since then. I've been also in the appellate courts and arbitration tribunals. And often people run onto me on the street the last few days and say, "Why are you running?" And I tell them first, well, my golf game's pretty lousy. But then I turn around and say, in all seriousness, I'm running because I've had enough. I'm at a stage here that I feel like the other people who are joining the moderate party that it's time for us to step out and say, we've had enough. We've had enough of an Attorney General's office in particular that is so politicized that it can't get down to protecting our interest against public corruption. It can't get down to doing an effective job of prosecuting white-collar crime. It can't get down to doing an effective job of advocating for our interests before the Health Insurance Commissioner, before the Public Utilities Commission, or for protecting our rights against deceptive business practices. I've been doing this for 30 years. I've been managing a firm. I set up my own firm 16 years ago, and I have 14 lawyers and about 23 employees. I've been involved deeply in many of the activities that lead to my substantive understanding of healthcare, environment, and utilities. And I'm doing this because, as I said, I've had enough. And instead of going out and trying to learn how to play golf at this stage, I want to come by and try to use my talents to help Rhode Island be a better place. Thank you.
Good evening. As we've seen over the course of the past year and many years in Rhode Island, public corruption continues to plague our state. Whether it's the $75 million debacle at the state landfill that no one was prosecuted for, or the public corruption scandal that is evolving in Central Falls involving Mayor Chuck Moreau, who allegedly has given a sweetheart deal to a contractor as well as a campaign contributor to board up houses at $16,000 a piece, when in fact the cost to do that and the average bid was between 4 and 5. We've had it with public corruption, and I want to ask you, are you fed up with the political insiders lining their pockets with your money and Rhode Island's future? Yes. Are you fed up with having a capital city that now has double the murder rate and violent gangs running and terrorizing the streets of Providence and driving away business development in that city as well as throughout the rest of Rhode Island? You fed up with that?
Yes.
Are you ready to fight to take back your state?
Yes.
Well, if you're ready to fight, I'm ready to lead. My name's Eric Wallen, and I'd like to be your next Attorney General. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a native Rhode Islander. I grew up here. I went to Rhode Island College. I went to Roger Williams Law School. And then I left to join the United States Air Force. I was a captain. I served as a captain in a JAG, litigating federal criminal cases in our military courts. And when I came back to Rhode Island with my wife, who also was a native Rhode Islander, because all Rhode Islanders come back eventually, we came back to start our family and be amongst our own. And I worked at the Attorney General's office as a criminal prosecutor, locking up drug dealers, violent felons, child predators. And in 2008, I left. And when I did, I reflected upon my family, my 2 small children, 5 and 3, Bradford and Samuel, and I looked at them and I said, what kind of future do they have here in Rhode Island? And the answer to that to me was very stunning. They may have none. We need to change the climate of corruption because it affects our economic development in this state. Whether it's the foreclosed houses that can't be sold because a corrupt mayor allows his campaign contributor to put a $16,000 lien on them, and by the way, there were over 200 houses, those houses remain unforeclosed. In other words, people can't buy them. Banks have to pay extra fees to try to clear those mortgages before they can be sold. So you have an abandoned home, depressed property values in those areas, all because of corruption. People don't come in. They don't buy new furniture. They don't hire a painter to refurbish the place, all because of corruption. And that ripple effect carries on. Not to mention the damning effect that it has on our reputation throughout this country. We cannot attract businesses here when our reputation is corruption. I'm Eric Wallen. I'm running for Attorney General, and I thank you for being here.
Chris, you want to say?